Well, welcome guys. Today I am going to be sharing with you a class that I call Support. And the reason for that is because we're actually going to be using the yoga belt as a form of support in creating space and also to basically access a deeper stretch. So improving your range of motion, but also your level of flexibility without overstretching. So this is a fantastic way to guide your body into a stretch, to harness a deeper stretch, but not to strain in any way. So we're going to commence in supine position here with bent knees along the floor. And you're going to loop the strap around the ball of your right foot. Now, if you don't have a yoga belt, you can use just a regular belt or even just a sash, anything that will allow you to hold on with both hands or one hand with a level of stability. It doesn't have to be elastic, but if you do have a TheraBand, you can also use a TheraBand for this as well. Now, once you've looped around the right ball of the foot, you're just going to go ahead and extend that leg upwards towards the ceiling here, gaining a nice stretch through the ankle, through the calf muscle and into the hamstring. You're wanting to anchor down through your lower back and initially supporting with your left foot. Now, if after a few breaths this stretch feels absolutely wonderful and you would like to take it further, by all means you can now lengthen your left leg out along the floor as a straight leg and just observing how that feels. If it feels like it's pulling you in any way, you can just allow that knee to bend again. So from here, we're going to continue to hold on to both sides of the belt now with the right hand and have a go at opening the right leg out to the side. Now you want to do this really nice and slow to prevent the left hip and the left shoulder from rolling with you. You want those 2 points to be anchored down, and it's a good idea to float your left arm out to the left side, just in line with your shoulder. So you're coming out just a couple of centimeters initially and then exploring the flexibility on this side and how much give you have. So sometimes we explore and find some tension in a stretch, we can breathe with it and then the body gives. So you aren't straining or overstretching, but you are just releasing a little deeper. And then slow and steady, you're going to bring that leg back through center. Going to swap the hands over here and now guiding the leg in the opposite direction across your body, targeting a really nice deep stretch into the underside of the leg, into the glute and into your lower back. This tends to be that sort of sciatic region of the body that can often hold a lot of tension, tightness and discomfort for a lot of people. So you want to take your time and care with this, not to force in any way, and just breathing with what sort of shows up to the surface here. Hopefully finding that the belt can actually carry you into this and really support you in the stretch. And then slow and steady as you come back through center. From here, we're going to keep the leg in that vertical stretch, but let the hands drop away. Don't be too concerned if the belt happens to drop onto the floor. We're just going to leave it hanging where it is, or if it drops down, that's absolutely fine. But you're going to now guide your leg halfway down to the ground, trying to maintain that length that you've already created. So you're going to find that your abdominal muscles are really going to start to switch on and kick in here, helping to keep your lower back nice and stable. So holding for a few breaths there, lengthening through the heel, and then ever so gently guiding your leg all the way down to the floor. And when it does touch down, just release completely throughout the body, letting go of any tension, and really enjoy that sense of freedom and space. And then from here, we're going to start to bend the knees again. You can go fishing for your belt if it's by your feet, and looping now around the left ball of the foot. So we're going to work this all to the other side. Extending your left leg up towards the ceiling, anchoring down through the right foot, getting nice and cozy and familiar with the stretch, and then exploring whether or not you would like to straighten your right leg out along the floor as well. If you do choose to do that, try to keep the foot working for you. So you're going to flex the foot and draw the toes back towards your face, anchoring down through the heel. And of course, breathing. Now, ever so gently, you're going to now allow your left hand to hold onto both sides of the belt, letting right arm float out to the right side, just in line with your shoulder, and start now to open your leg out to the left. So you want to start off just a little bit, a couple of centimeters is absolutely fine. Breathe into that stretch, anchoring down through the right hip and right shoulder. And if your body wants to give a little bit more, just let that openness just happen naturally. Taking your time here, no rush, no force, no pressure. And just exploring where your body would like to go with the guidance of your support. And then after your next breath out, you're going to slowly find your way back to center. Find that wonderful length and swap your hands over. So holding on to both sides of the belt now with your right hand. Allow your lovely leg to come across your body. And once again, targeting that really nice deep stretch into the underside of your leg. And just compare here both sides. And if they are similar, in the sense of space and flexibility that you're finding, but also what might exist with tension on both sides, what you can explore here. And then once more, making your way back into center. So here your hands can just drop down to the ground. Don't worry too much about your belt and the position of it. Going to now guide your leg halfway down to the ground, trying to maintain as much length as possible. Hold it there, anchoring down through the core. Get your power from the center of the body. And then nice and easy to lower all the way down to the ground. And as soon as your heel touches, just let go completely. All the work, any sense of frustration, any effort, and just melt into the floor for a moment, breathing away. And then simply from here, you can bend through your knees. If your belt is close by, you can go fishing again. Grab hold of it and just pop it beside you for now. Hug the knees in towards your chest and just circle your lovely knees around. So a few times in one direction, nice and slow, massaging into your back and softening into the belly. And then a few times into the opposite way, unwinding and unraveling. Now this time as you come back into center, you can let your feet drop down to the floor. Choose a side that you would like to roll over onto, and from there coming up into sitting. Now I'm going to come into a kneeling position here, but if that's not suitable for you today, by all means you can change that to a seated position that does work for you, perhaps cross-legged or legs outstretched, and knowing that you can adjust this at any time. From here, we're going to grab hold of the belt roughly shoulder width apart, nice firm grip, and then start to guide the arms forward and upward. So if all the way above the head is a little bit too much, you can just guide your arms forward to the point where you are working and generating length, but you're not overexerting yourself, particularly if there's any pain in the upper region of the body, so say your neck, your head, your shoulders, or if your heart feels like it's working a little bit too hard with arms above the head. From here, if all is good, you are going to raise up through the eye gaze and the chin, having a look up above, either at the ceiling or towards your belt, and perhaps add a little sway back into the stretch. Beautiful length being generated from your hips to your shoulders and beyond. And then gazing forward, once again, we're now going to rotate the body towards the right side. A little bit of a twist coming into the upper torso, helping to wake up the spine, but also generating some flexibility here. And then rotating back through center so that you can now work this around to your left side. And just maintain a nice level of curiosity here, creating balance to both sides of the body and exploring what you are finding. Floating your way back through center, and with that length that you've got, trying to keep that as you now tilt your body towards the right side. So keeping the tip of your nose facing forward in the tilt. You might not be tilting too far, just a nice gentle stretch. Easing back into center and then tilting over to your left side, letting your neck and head flow with you. And then slowly back into center here. Nice big breath in as you lengthen up that little bit more. And now as you breathe out, we're going to dive forward slowly into a nice fold. So you can either glide yourself forward in a rounded way with the back, you might like to keep hold of the belt, or feel free to just place the belt along the floor here and let the fingertips guide you further forward into the stretch. Releasing here in any way that feels good. And then nice and slowly now to walk your hands back in towards your body, stacking up through the spine. We're just going to now place the belt along your mat, along the narrow edge of the mat here. And then coming up nice and slow into your forward fold. So your Uttanasana, standing forward bend here, hanging loosely, feet roughly shoulder distance apart. Nice light sway with the arms from side to side. And then grabbing hold of your belt, and you can add the belt now into the sway, a nice firm grip, again roughly that shoulder distance apart. And then slowly from here as you come back to center, bending through the knees and just unraveling up into standing. So here we're going to keep the feet roughly again that hip distance apart, add a nice bend through the knees, but now sinking down through your tailbone. Guiding your arms here forward if you can, engaging through the core and finding the lift that feels right for your body. So entering into your Utkatasana or your chair pose, a really fiery position, but again, greatly supported by your belt to maintain stability and flexibility alongside that strength. Now, if up above with the arms is a little bit too much at any point, you can just simply rest your hands to your thighs. This is your practice, your work. One more deep breath in and out here. Beautiful. And then just unravel back into standing. You can roll the shoulders back a few times here. And then when you're ready to, we're going to repeat this for a second round. Bending forward through the knees, sinking back and down through the tailbone as if you're coming to sit into a low chair. Engage your foundation, your feet, your legs, that power at your core, and sending the arms forward and upward, finding that wonderful length alongside the strength. And most importantly, remembering to breathe, generating that beautiful prana here. Working 2 more slow, purposeful breaths in and out. Wonderful. And then slowly releasing back into center and rolling back through the shoulders. Good. So here now from this narrow edge of your mat, we're going to step the right foot back behind the body. So a nice comfortable yet deep lunge. So wanting to have the back heel nice and planted to the floor, but also wanting to make sure that you haven't cross-stepped, which means that you're not directly behind your front foot. So if you need to pivot that back foot out a little wider, you certainly can. Then starting to lunge the left knee forward out in front here. Now, if that knee is coming way past your toes and you can create some more space between the feet, feel free to creep those toes further forward. Come into a nice, deep, comfortable lunge. Eye gaze at this stage is out in front of you. Spine is lifting up and away from the floor, trying not to as yet tilt forward. And chest is open and exposed. Going to add the belt up into the mix, so nice firm grip on the belt as you start to raise forward and above if possible. Taking a few breaths there, gaining that height, gaining that length, but feeling your legs are powerful. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1 is all about confidence and power, developing bravery and courage, and facing things heart on. So maintaining those qualities here as you start to now spiral out wide to the right side. So we're just opening the chest out to the right here for a moment. And then coming back to center, facing forward. Again, we're going to open out wide to the right side. Beautiful. And then come to face forward once more. Here your eye gaze can lift upwards towards the ceiling or towards your belt, adding a little sway back if you wish to, if the spine feels good. And now, as you come back through center, we're going to straighten this front knee and guide all of that length forward and down towards your front shin. So we're folding here into what's known as Parsvottanasana, or your pyramid pose and stretch. So a really great and obvious one for the hamstrings and the front leg. Mindful of your front knee, so if you feel like you're really locking it back, take it off lock And of course, if you need to, adding a little bend into the mix. After your next breath out, we're going to lunge again into that left knee, arrive safely back into your warrior one, just momentarily. With your eye gaze forward now, we're going to shift the body weight forward into that front foot, your left foot. Have a go at lifting your back heel off the ground and having a play at entering into your warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. Now, if this feels a little too strong today, by all means, just hold it into that lean position and come out when you need to. But if you would like to explore this further, we're going to balance the weight into that front foot, slow and steady guide your belt forward, and allow the back leg and foot to lift up off the floor. Remembering to breathe, keep the eye gaze focused, keep the core strong, supporting your whole body. Landing safely back into your warrior one, nice gentle landing. And then simply spring the back foot up to the front foot to arrive back into standing. Beautiful. So we're going to now swap this all over to the other side. Stepping back now on your left foot. Adjust the positioning of your feet so that you can anchor down through the back heel. You haven't cross-stepped, your hips are square, balance feels good. And lunging into your front knee, which is now your right knee. Nice firm grip on your belt. Start to raise up high with your belt, gaining that length alongside the strength. Breathe. Eye gaze soft and steady forward. Beautiful. Now that wonderful power that you're now generating to this side, we're going to keep that and start to open out to the left. So chest comes around. Try not to bring your front knee around with you. And then rotate back through center. You might lunge a little deeper. Second round of this, opening out to the left, creating a little more space. And then coming back to your warrior one, perhaps again lunging a little deeper. Your eye gaze can start to lift upward, either towards the belt, the roof, the sky. Maybe adding in a little sway back. And again, as your eye gaze comes forward once more, we're going to now straighten this front knee and guide all of that length forward and down towards your shin. So arriving into your Parsvottanasana, your beautiful pyramid pose here on this side. Noticing what you find in the way of space, flexibility, but also tension and tightness. Breathing into all of it. A nice little lunge of that front knee to support your lift back into your warrior one just momentarily. And then shifting again, eye gaze forward as we start to lean into this front foot, lifting the back heel and exploring the idea of coming all the way up and over into your Virabhadrasana 3, only if you wish to. Making sure you're breathing the whole way through, constantly tuning in, constantly present, and supporting yourself, not only with the belt, but with your breath. Wonderful. And then coming to safely land back into your beautiful warrior one. Take a moment there to spring the back foot up to the front foot and let that go. Beautiful work. So we're going to come down to the floor now into a seated position, opening the legs nice and wide for Upavista Konasana, your seated wide fold. Once you are there, we're going to anchor down through the heels, draw the toes back towards the face, looping now the belt around the right ball of the foot, going to face into the right leg and right foot, gain some height and length up through the torso, and then carry that length forward. So bending into the elbows to feed your chest and chin towards your toes, trying to help take away some of the rounded action up the spine and to again generate more space there, more freedom. Now you might walk the hands a few times along your belt to find the optimal position in holding, and then breathing into the stretch. This is where we have to be really cautious not to overstretch. You don't want to feel like you're pulling yourself into this, but just always working with the notion that you are guiding the body. And then nice and steady to just slide back along the belt, still facing this side, and then softening into the knee as you loop the belt off your foot. Going to now rotate towards your left foot, loop the belt around the ball of the foot there, making sure you're not grabbing hold of your toes. Nice, lovely length up through the spine before guiding that length forward. Maybe walking along the belt if you need to. Resetting the position, bending through the elbows. Not pulling, not forcing, just guiding. And of course, supporting. And above all, breathing. Beautiful. One more breath in and out here. Good. And then sliding back into center. Beautiful. So from that, we're going to support underneath the knees with the hands, bend the knees together, and then allow the legs to extend out in front. So lengthening out from your lovely hips. Gripping hold of your belt roughly that shoulder width apart. And we're going to end off here by taking a nice deep breath in, reaching up high through your belt and extending forward towards your feet. If you come straight over your feet with the belt, you can loop around the balls of the feet. But if you're in front of the toes, so closer towards your chest, you would just be keeping the belt up in the air, nice and lifted at the height of the toes and working towards that direction. And this is your supported Paschimottanasana, your back extension. So again, a really great one for length and flexibility, but not wanting to pull yourself forward into this. It's that idea that you are trying to work to fold yourself in half, but you don't want to fold yourself if you aren't ready to quite make it there yet. Having patience and acceptance always. So another couple of breaths in and out here. Beautiful. And then lengthening all the way up. Wonderful. And releasing down. So from here, we're going to find again a nice comfortable seated position. And once you're in that seated position, I'm going to invite you to slide the belt back behind your body and shimmy it up towards your upper back so that you can then lower your arms, hooking the belt in place. It's comfortable. It's going to just hang there nice and easy across your upper back. And then you can settle in again to your seated position. So the reason for this is that you're going to spend the next little bit of time breathing and settling into a nice quiet space, but with a connection to the breath in the back of the body. So your lungs are actually larger in the back of your body, but we don't often consider that part. We always think about the front of the body quite a lot. It's the most tangible to us, most familiar. So settling in here now, just acknowledging the breath in all parts of your body, but in particular noticing the movement that it creates against the belt, which is currently resting at your upper back. And just gradually more and more creating more movement there without rushing it, without forcing. Breathing away nice and gentle. And this is a wonderful way to support your breath in creating expansion and considering the movement that your breath creates and where you can find it quite dominantly in the body. Now, by all means, please feel free to continue this. You might like to pause the video and stay here for an extended period of time. It's a really nice one to explore for a couple of minutes to slow down the pace, but also if your breath has felt short and sharp recently, to work this, helping with repair and helping with healing. But at this stage, if you are bringing your practice now to a close, please feel free to bring your hands together and to join me in the sharing of Namaste. Namaste, and thank you so much for joining me here in this space.